I won the lottery. I looked down at the numbers on the lottery ticket in my palm and compared them with the winning numbers that I confirmed it several times before I dared to believe that a lottery ticket I bought casually actually won 700 million. My hands were shaking, and I subconsciously wanted to call my boyfriend to tell him the good news that I called, but no one answered after a long while that I didn't care about working overtime, so I packed up and rushed home. Whoever loves this broken class can do it. It was already early in the morning, and I couldn't suppress the joy in my heart. I was extravagant for once and took a special car home that I pushed open the door and called out hurriedly. Tianjie. Our mother's illness is cured. No one answered me after calling twice. I thought to myself that it was late after all, and I was afraid that Zhang Tianjie and my future mother-in-law were asleep. I put down my bag, looked at the table full of dishes and the half-drunk bottle of red wine, and I felt a little more confused. Zhang Tianjie and his mother are usually very frugal. So today must be a good day that I pushed open the door. The scene in front of me shocked me. At this time, Zhang Tianjie was lying naked on the bed, with a woman under him. The white bodies of the two people were tightly pressed together, and the scene made me feel sick that I put my hands on my waist, and a surge of anger surged in my heart. Zhang Tianjie, you took advantage of me when I was not at home, didn't you? Zhang Tianjie was startled by my roar, and he was busy wrapping the quilt around him tightly, and said in a panic. Anan, why are you back? No, it's not what you see, Li. He didn't know where to start with his sophistry. Zhang Tianjie was speechless, and the woman next to him kept getting into his arms. She was still shouting coquettishly, husband, say something. Zhang Tianjie subconsciously wanted to explain to me that. I rolled my eyes, reached out and picked up the red wine glass that he had not finished drinking beside the bed, and poured it on his face. While he was not paying attention, I rushed forward and slapped him twice. After 2 slaps, Zhang Tianjie stared at me. I used all my strength so that 2 slap marks were left on his cheeks. These 2 slaps seemed to wake him up. The woman next to him turned her head and looked at me, and I recognized her immediately. She was none other than Zhang Tianjie's ex-girlfriend, Jing Xiaoya. She pinched her voice and said, Tianjie, why are you afraid of her? Fight back quickly. Hearing her say this, Zhang Tianjie changed his previous gentle attitude. He suddenly stood up and grabbed my arm and pushed me to the ground. That I fell to the ground. Tears kept rolling in my eyes. I was not as strong as him, and I fell to the ground and didn't get up for a long time. Zhang Tianjie pulled my hair, pointed at me and cursed, you stinky bitch. I've given you face all these years, haven't I? You really think you're a piece of shit? I'm not pretending anymore. I won 3 million in the lottery. I'm a millionaire now. Get out of here. With your appearance, do you think you're worthy of me? If it weren't for you being stupid, able to endure hardships, and spending all the money you earn on me, I wouldn't even touch you. You can't even compare to Xiaoya's toes. After saying that, he kissed the woman next to him, his eyes full of boasting. Hearing his words, I was stunned, and I couldn't believe that these words came from the mouth of the man I loved for 4 years. Zhang Tianjie and I have been in love for 4 years. He has always been very good and considerate to me. He has given in to me in everything for 4 years and has never said a harsh word to me. Our love life can be said to be plain with some sweetness. And we are also planning to get married at the beginning of next year, because I once thought that meeting Zhang Tianjie was my blessing. That I am an orphan who grew up in an orphanage, so I have an endless yearning for having my own home. Zhang Tianjie's family conditions are not good either. His father died early, and his mother raised him up. Last year, his mother was diagnosed with mid-stage gastric cancer. Faced with expensive treatment costs, I never thought of giving up on him and his mother. That I pay the rent, I subsidize the living expenses. I work 4 jobs a day to support our small family, and I even took out all my savings to treat his mother. Now that he has won the lottery, the first thing he did was to abandon me and go find his white moonlight. He even won the lottery this morning, and in the afternoon he went to find the white moonlight who abandoned him. In this way, the 4 years between him and me were really ridiculous. That I squatted on the ground and sneered. I silently touched the lottery ticket in my pocket and looked up at him. Auntie, do you know that you are doing this to me? My face was full of tears. And I just hoped that someone could say something for me now. Zhang Tianjie's mother treated me well and always said that she treated me as her own daughter. It was because of his mother's kindness that I agreed to his proposal that I looked at Zhang Tianjie, but saw him and my mother knew that it was my mother who told me to dump you quickly that I laughed bitterly. The familiar voice of Zhang Tianjie's mother rang in the living room. Why are you arguing so loudly in the middle of the night? Zhang Tianjie's mother had just woken up not long ago. Maybe she won the lottery. Now her face was full of rosy glow, and she didn't even look sick at all. She glanced at me on the ground, and the contempt in her eyes was something I had never seen before. Zhang's mother waved her hand and asked him to get rid of this jinx quickly. Can't you let people sleep in the middle of the night? Zhang's mother glared at me, and her eyes were about to roll up to the sky. Song Anan, don't blame your aunt for being cruel. Look at your face and your horoscope. It's fine if you killed your parents. But you're also going to kill me and my son. It's because of your bad fate that I got cancer. Get out of here right now. Unlucky thing. As she said that, she raised her foot and kicked my shoulder, cursing, you are a jinx, you look poor at first glance. I am afraid you will not be able to give birth to grandchildren for my family in the future. Xiaoya is still good, her face looks blessed. I looked at the mother and son in front of me. And I felt extremely unfamiliar. It was as if the two people who were kind to me and regarded me as a relative had never existed. It turns out that money has such a great magic that 3 million can make people put down their disguises and show their true colors. Since everyone is not pretending, I will not pretend either. I waved my hand, then I will say it directly. To be honest, I also won the lottery, and won 700 million. Hearing what I said, the three people in front of me had some disbelief on their faces, and the three of them suddenly laughed out loud. As if they heard some funny jokes, Zhang Tianjie reached out and patted me. Song Anan, are you crazy? Do you think everyone is as lucky as me? It's 700 million, but you can't even win 7 yuan. Don't think you can win me back by lying. Even if you win 7 billion, I don't want you. I didn't say anything, with a faint smile on my face. I picked up the bag beside me and put it on my back, and made up my mind. Believe it or not, Zhang Tianjie, you are such a person. I fell in love with you because I felt sorry for you. Do you really think you are so handsome? Take a piss and look in the mirror. Let me tell you, from today on, Zhang Tianjie, your family is dead, and it has nothing to do with me. I turned back to the room and took out my jewelry and put it in my bag. Although the jewelry together is not worth 20,000 yuan, I won't leave my things to them. Seeing me taking things, Zhang's mother panicked. You thief! Did you steal our things? I looked around and took a look at this rental house of only 40 square meters. My things were worthless. In the past 2 years, I have been saving money to treat his mother's illness and for us to have a small family. The clothes I bought for myself were of the worst quality. I dared not buy skin care products after they were used up. Compared with Zhang Tianjie and his mother, I really tried my best to be nice to them. The only valuable things on my body were those jewelry. She even accused me of being a thief. Now thinking about it, I was really stupid and crazy at that time. I was actually nice to people like them. I shook my head. If I said a few more words to these people, I was afraid I would vomit. I tried to suppress the disgust in my heart, but Zhang's mother and the mistress continued to chatter. I warn you not to appear in front of us again. The one who is not loved is the mistress. As she said that, Zhang's mother reached out to grab my bag like a shrew. I sneered and rushed into the kitchen to take out a kitchen knife and a half-processed hairtail. I held the hairtail in my hand and rushed forward to hit Zhang's mother's wrinkled face with the hairtail. Zhang's mother's mouth immediately became red and swollen. She covered her mouth and screamed. The mistress Sheng Xiaoya came over and tried to stop me, but I slapped the hairtail in my hand again, and the flesh around her mouth trembled. I held the hairtail in my hand, thinking that no one should escape, and used all my strength to stuff the broken hairtail into Zhang Tianjie's big mouth that was cursing. He took a bite of the raw hairtail. His face was ashen, and he held his waist and vomited. The three of them were angered by me, and I raised the corners of my lips, held the kitchen knife in my palm, and pointed it at them. Who dares to stop me? Who dares to steal my things? I will chop you to death. Isn't it just crazy? Let's see who is more crazy. Once I got mad, they didn't dare to do anything to me, so they could only stop in anger. The three people stood aside and no one dared to stop me. I walked out angrily. After leaving the house, I called the landlord that I won't renew the lease of the house. You can ask Zhang Tianjie for the rent for the first half of the year. Not only that, I took out the medical bill from my bag, tore it into pieces, and threw it into the trash can. Fortunately, I haven't paid Zhang Tianjie's fucking medical expenses for the past 6 months, so let these bitches pay it themselves. I also kept the previous transfer records and payment records. I will get them all back even if I have to sue. It belongs to me, but these bastards want to take it away. That night, I booked a 5-star hotel for myself. I will become a billionaire soon, so I have to enjoy it that I quit all 4 jobs, lay down on the big bed in the hotel, and slept until noon the next day. When I woke up, I had booked a big meal in advance. When I got up the next day, I found a sportswear that can be found everywhere, and also prepared a headgear, a hat, and sunglasses. No one can recognize who I am after dressing like this. That I was fully armed, took the relevant documents and went to the lottery center to claim the prize. As soon as I walked into the lottery center, I saw a group of reporters surrounding a few people for an interview, saying that someone had won the lottery, won several million. I took a closer look, and unexpectedly, the people being interviewed were none other than Zhang Tianjie and the other 2. The 3 people stood in front of the camera with their eyebrows flying, and they wanted to tell the world about this. Zhang Tianjie was dressed in a suit and tie, and he looked very decent. He started bragging in front of the camera. As for me, in fact, my family has a lot of assets. And 3 million is nothing to me. Zhang Tianjie's mother was full of smiles. Yes, my son has been a son of luck since he was a child, and he can do anything he wants. 3 million is a drop in the bucket. Zheng Xiaoya, who was hugged by him, was heavily made up. And she took out her mobile phone and pointed her account number at the camera. You can follow my account. We often send benefits to our family. 3 million is a small amount of money. We send more than that in red envelopes to our family in one live broadcast. Everyone remember my account and follow it. Seeing their ostentatious appearance, I couldn't help but sneer that I know that only fools would be so ostentatious. It's better to let fewer people know about winning the lottery. Especially for people like me who have won hundreds of millions. Only by keeping a low profile can I ensure my safety. While everyone's attention was focused on Zhang Tianjie's family, I was busy looking for a staff member to go into the workshop to exchange the lottery. I got the prize redemption slip from the lottery center and left in a hurry. On the same day, I redeemed the prize at the bank. That night, more than 500 million after paying taxes was transferred to my account. I looked at the many zeros in my bank account and couldn't help laughing. Why life as a rich woman is finally about to begin. After getting the money, I immediately paid in full for a small apartment in Thompson's 2nd floor. It cost me 120 million, which was enough for me to live alone. I went shopping crazily with my bank card in my hand, and visited all kinds of luxury stores. The shopping bags of luxury goods were all over the house. And there was no place to put my feet. I directly purchased 5 million Hermes bags and took a few bags I liked home. I deposited all the remaining money in the bank, and the interest was nearly 1 million every month, which directly achieved financial freedom. After unpacking all the shopping bags, I was exhausted and sweating. I leaned on my sofa and looked at my 400 square meter house with satisfaction. I picked up my phone and took a look at my moments, and saw Zhang Tianjie showing off his wealth in moments. He posted a selfie. In the selfie, he was wearing a rich outfit full of logos. Sitting in his recently bought BMW car, pretending to accidentally show off the 500,000 watch on his wrist, with one hand on the steering wheel. Caption: BMW is average. I will buy another Mercedes tomorrow. Do you have any recommendations? Seeing his weird look, I immediately became interested and thought it was quite funny. I found Zheng Xiaoya's account directly according to the account that she asked for attention in front of the media today. her account is exactly the same as Zhang Tianjie's, both showing off their wealth. In one photo, she bought 2 new Chanel bags, caption. My dear husband insisted on buying them for me. She has recently shown a lot of luxury goods on her homepage, which should all be bought by Zhang Tianjie, but with only 3 million lottery tickets, if they continue to spend at this rate, they may not last until next month, and Zhang Tianjie's fucking disease is a bottomless pit. 1 or 2 million is just enough. That I changed my mind and thought, that won't work. Although I am a billionaire now. The money I spent on their family during the 4 years when I was in love with him cannot be reduced by a penny. I immediately found a lawyer and gave him all the records of transfers and medical expenses I paid for his mother. I even added the 3 or 5 yuan I spent on buying vegetables that I didn't know until I added it. I was shocked that in 4 years, I spent more than 300,000 yuan on Zhang Tianjie. After deducting the money he spent on me, he still owed me 310,000 yuan. So, was I cursed in those years? How could I forget the truth that spending money on a man will bring you bad luck for the rest of your life? Now he can't afford to lose a penny from me. Lawyers with high fees are efficient. They helped me handle everything in a few days and sent a lawyer's letter directly to his home. If you don't pay me back, I will sue you to death. As soon as the lawyer's letter was sent, I received a call from Zhang Tianjie that night. As soon as the call was connected, Zhang Tianjie cursed me from the other end. Song Anan, are you crazy? Do you dare to sue me? Hearing his voice, I sneered, yes. I sued you, what's wrong? Bite me. He lowered his voice, 300,000. Song Anan, you are so proud now, aren't you just jealous that I am now a millionaire, and you are angry? Do you want to come back to me by this means? Very good, you will get what you want soon. In this way, I will give you 30,000 yuan. How about you continue to be my girlfriend? How can I not know you? You are not. That I agree to let you come back to me, but you have to be wronged and can only be my lover. You also know that Xiaoya has a bad temper. If she knows, she will probably make a fuss, but you have everything she has. Listening to Zhang Tianjie talking to himself, I was speechless and laughed out loud. Zhang Tianjie, if you want to have a crush on someone, just do it to your mom and your mistress, don't do it to me, it's disgusting, I can't even eat dinner. 310,000, not a cent less, please be on time for the court session. Leave your lover position to another blind man, why don't you take a piss and look at your own ghost appearance, who are you? Disgusting. After saying that, I hung up the phone and blocked all his contact information. On the day of the court session, Zhang Tianjie didn't show up in court. He probably thought I was joking with him and fantasized that I was deliberately attracting his attention. It wasn't until the verdict came down, ordering him to pay me back 300,000, that he felt it was real. Zhang Tianjie was anxious. Seeing that his contact information was blocked by me, he asked his mother to call me, and I blocked her as well. They also went to my workplace to find me, but found that I had resigned. The arm can't bend the thigh. Zhang Tianjie had no choice but to pay back the money. If he didn't, the bank would take away his BMW car that cost 1 million yuan that he could only watch, as 300,000 yuan was deducted from his account and transferred to my account. Now 300,000 yuan is not even enough for me to make a small fraction of my account. After 300,000 yuan arrived, I added another 700,000 yuan to make up 1 million yuan and donated it directly to the welfare home. I enjoyed the life of a rich woman for half a month. I either slept or went shopping every day. It was so comfortable that I was so overwhelmed by the happy life that I almost forgot about Zhang Tianjie's existence. Until one day, a good friend who had a good relationship with me got married and invited me to attend her wedding. I didn't tell anyone that I won 700 million yuan in the lottery. When my friends asked me about it, I only said that I made a little money, not much, just enough to live. And I kept a low profile. When I attended the wedding, I still kept a low profile. Besides, I was not the main character of the wedding, and I did not want to steal the limelight. I dressed according to my original style, but the quality of the clothes was much better. When I arrived at the wedding scene and sat down, I found that they arranged me, Zhang Tianjie and Zheng Xiaoya, to sit at the same table. Zhang Tianjie changed his original gentle appearance and now dressed like a nouveau riche, with a big gold chain around his neck. Which was so tacky. When I thought about my relationship with him, I felt that I had a criminal record. Zhang Xiaoya next to him seemed to treat other people's wedding as her own stage. She was wearing a white suspender princess dress, and people who didn't know her thought she was the bride. The real bride's face turned green when she saw her, but it was difficult to get angry because there were so many people on the seats. The people sitting around were all my and Zhang Tianjie's common friends. They knew that we broke up. And now they were a little embarrassed. Everyone looked at each other and didn't speak. Zhang Xiaoya deliberately exposed the necklace around her neck and spoke to Zhang Tianjie. "Oh, baby, my neck hurts so much. I told you not to buy such a big diamond necklace. It hurts my neck." That I subconsciously looked at the necklace on her neck, and I couldn't help but sneer. I used to be an appraiser in a jewelry store. The one on her neck was obviously fake. No one paid attention to them. Zhang Xiaoya spoke again, but her eyes always stayed on me. I wonder how much everyone gave as a share. We didn't give much, only 66. And I heard from Tianjie that you were short of money before and cheated a lot of money from him, so you should have given a lot of money as a share. Hearing what Zhang Xiaoya said, Zhang Tianjie showed disdain. Yes, Song Anan, you cheated 300,000 from me. Have you spent it all? No money to pay for the share, I sneered. Now that I have money and confidence, I adhere to the principle of never wasting money internally, so I choose to go crazy. Seeing that no one was looking at us, I started to curse. "Get out." I controlled the volume so that only the people at our table could hear it. After all, I didn't want to ruin my friend's wedding. Zhang Tianjie was stunned by my scolding. He didn't expect me to be so vulgar now. "Song Anan, are you a woman? You are indeed a thing without a mother, and you have no manners at all. Fortunately, your parents died a long time ago, otherwise it would be embarrassing to see you like this." Anger surged in my heart, and I threw the water cup in my hand on the table. "It's none of your business whether I am a woman or not. I think it's really uncertain whether you are a man or not. After all, you only stay in bed for 3 seconds. What does it matter to you how much I pay? Did your mother die, or your girlfriend die? You keep asking me how much I pay. Saying that I defrauded you of money. Why are you worried that I can't pay when your mother and you die? Don't worry. After you and your mother die, I will definitely give you a share of 444 yuan, and say a big compliment. You died well." Zhang Tianjie was stunned, and he couldn't speak. You. I pointed at him and spoke, "Fearless, you owe me 300,000 yuan, and the verdict has come down. If I hear you spread rumors about me again, I will definitely sue you for spreading rumors and put you in jail. If you don't believe me, just try it." Zhang Tianjie was angered by my words, and he stood up suddenly and wanted to attack me, but we were surrounded by good friends, and 2 people could stop him at random, and they were still comforting him in his ear. The wedding was coming to an end, and the bride and groom came to our table after hearing the sound. Seeing that everyone looked unhappy, the bride hugged my arm. "An, what's wrong?" I shook my head. "It's okay, there are just 2 idiots looking for trouble." "Lily, I'm sorry, I affected your good mood for marriage." I took out the gift I carefully prepared from my bag. A pure gold bouquet. As soon as the bouquet was taken out, I saw that everyone's eyes were bright. The rumor that I cheated Zhang Tianjie of money was broken. This bouquet was worth more than 300,000 yuan. The bride Lily waved her hands quickly. I couldn't take such a valuable thing. I put the gold bouquet in her palm and tidied her hair. "Lily. Happy wedding. I remember your kindness to me and your help in the past few years. This small bouquet is just a little thought from me. I hope you can be happy in the future." Lily took the bouquet, tears in her eyes, and the unpleasant mood just now was swept away, just as Lily and I hugged each other, with a look of relief on our faces. Zhang Xiaoya's mocking laughter came from the side. "Lily. You should check it out. This flower is probably fake. You are still so moved. I am afraid you don't even know that you have been cheated." I rolled my eyes at her. Zheng Xiaoya had heard from Zhang Tianjie before that I was an orphan and was extremely poor. How could someone like me suddenly become rich? She was determined in her thoughts and thought that she must embarrass me so as to help her and Zhang Tianjie get back on track. Zheng Xiaoya chuckled with a somewhat boastful tone. I have a lot of jewelry and gold. I can tell whether the gold is real or fake. Song Anan gave you this one. Which is fake at first glance? If you don't believe me, I will teach you how to tell it. As she said that, Zheng Xiaoya snatched the bouquet from Lily and threw it directly to the ground. In full view of the public, Zheng Xiaoya stretched out her foot and stepped directly on the golden bouquet. Suddenly, the bouquet was crushed and completely lost its shape. Zheng Xiaoya was full of pride. You see, this must be fake. Gold is so expensive, it must be very hard. Just like the diamond. Everyone was dumbfounded watching her behavior. I couldn't help but sigh that she was indeed an illiterate who dropped out of school after graduating from junior high school. What's in her head? Gold jewelry is soft and easy to deform. This is common sense. She was complacent and felt that she had become a treasure appraiser. Zheng Xiaoya raised her head and kicked the bouquet that she had stepped on in front of me. Song Anan, you have no taste and give people fake goods. She looked so proud that she thought she was going to be praised. She glanced at Zhang Tianjie, but found that Zhang Tianjie's face was so ugly at this time. Lily beside me screamed directly, "Are you sick? I've had enough. I won't say anything if you come here in this white dress today. Now you ruined my bouquet." Lily's eyes suddenly turned red, and tears rolled in her eyes that I raised the corners of my mouth and slowly raised my mobile phone. Zheng Xiaoya, I called the police. When the police come, please show us how you damaged our belongings again. Lily nodded, saying that she would make this bitch suffer a setback no matter what. Seeing this, Zheng Xiaoya panicked. She wiped the non-existent tears from the corners of her eyes and hid behind Zhang Tianjie. Zhang Tianjie, with a beautiful woman in his arms, immediately stood in front of her. You called the police for such a trivial matter. How much is your bouquet worth? It must be gold-plated. Facing his eyes, I raised my palm calmly and made a 5. It's just 50,000 yuan. Seeing you are so stingy, I will compensate you, I sneered. It's 500,000 yuan. For the damage, whether it is the loss of gold or the labor cost, you should at least compensate me 100,000 yuan. Zhang Tianjie silently took back the mobile phone that he was going to transfer money. He had been squandering all kinds of things during this period, and he didn't have much money on hand. He could barely take out 50,000 yuan. But he really didn't have any more. I rolled my eyes at him, saying that he was just a poor guy. We didn't listen to their further explanation. The police came and conducted a simple investigation. It was a crime of intentional destruction of other people's property. Originally, the police asked me if I wanted to settle privately. After all, it was not a serious matter. Lily and I looked at each other and immediately understood what the other party meant. That we refused to settle and demanded compensation according to the estimated price, and Zheng Xiaoya had to be detained as required by the law. After Zheng Xiaoya heard the seriousness of the matter from the police, she realized that she had made a fool of herself and might really be detained for 10 days. She was shocked and wanted to ask Zhang Tianjie for help. Zhang Tianjie looked embarrassed. In front of so many friends, he felt that his face was completely lost. He shook off Zheng Xiaoya's hand and explained to the police that it was her who broke it. Not me. So it seems that Zhang Tianjie is not only a poor guy but also a coward. In the end, Zheng Xiaoya was taken away by the police for 10 days of detention, and the matter was over after she paid 80,000 yuan in compensation. After Zheng Xiaoya was detained, the two people finally settled down. They didn't appear in front of me for several months. And they didn't send me harassing messages and scold me every day. The life of a rich woman is a little more boring than I thought. I looked at the balance in my account and felt much better. I called my female friends a few times. As we said before, no matter who gets rich, they they must order the best male model. That I took a few sisters to the best club in the city and ordered the most expensive male model. It's really different if you spend money. Those men are 1.8 meters tall, with 8-pack abs as standard. And they are very handsome. The most important thing is that I can choose according to my style and preferences. The handsome guys talk one after another, which makes people very happy. It's really happy to have money. With money, love will come, and you can have several loves at the same time. It's better than dating a low-quality boyfriend like Zhang Tianjie. This time, I had a lot of fun. I went there for several days in a row, and all my previous troubles were swept away. I also made an appointment with a few good sisters to go on vacation in Bali. And I immediately felt the happiness of a rich woman. When I was traveling, I also heard friends talking about Zhang Tianjie. It is said that Zhang Tianjie was coaxed by Zheng Xiaoya to gamble. At the beginning, he won a lot of money. As a result, after winning for 2 consecutive days, Zhang Tianjie went to gamble again and lost all the money on him. Not only did he lose everything, he also owed tens of millions of foreign debts. Now his mother can't even afford the medical expenses in the hospital. He relied on intravenous drips all day to keep alive. And there was no money for surgery. When Zheng Xiaoya saw that he had no money, she packed up her things and ran away. Hearing this, I was shocked. Originally, Zhang Tianjie was not a gambler. Sure enough, people with weak minds should not have money, otherwise they will easily go astray. I shook my head and sighed that he deserved it. I was also glad that I broke up with him early. Otherwise, let alone 3 million, he could have squandered 700 million in a month. On the day I came back from Bali, I was just about to enter the community. Suddenly, a familiar figure suddenly appeared in front of me, and I didn't have time to speak. The man knelt down in front of me with a plop. Zhang Tianjie, what's wrong with you again? Get out of here. Zhang Tianjie hugged my legs and started crying with tears on his face. And then, can you forgive me? Can we start over? I really regret it. I shouldn't have abandoned you and been with Zheng Xiaoya. I sneered, raised my leg, and kicked him away with my high heels. Get away from me. Do you think I don't know what you are up to? Don't you just owe a lot of debts and now want me to clean up your ass? I tell you, no way. It turned out that Zhang Tianjie was really desperate. He saw Lily's circle of friends. I invited her to travel to Bali, and the bouquet of 500,000 yuan before was also very generous. He thought that I must have a lot of money on hand now, so he had to get some money from me. Zhang Tianjie looked up at me, and his aggrieved look looked a little pitiful, but to me, his pretending to be pitiful behavior was nothing to me. Crying, beating yourself, and kneeling down are his usual tricks. Zhang Tianjie cried that I gave up on you because I was bewildered by Zheng Xiaoya. Anan, can you give me another chance? Don't you love me very much? Let's get married in February next year as planned. After marriage, I will take care of the children at home, and you can do whatever you want. Hearing him say this, I couldn't help laughing out loud, and rolled my eyes in a hurry. Zhang Tianjie, what are you daydreaming about? And there is such a good thing. It was you who called me a bitch and asked me to get out, right? Now you want to take my money. Go to hell. I stared at him. And when I saw him trying to reach out to pull me again, I kicked him again. Seeing my firm attitude, Zhang Tianjie understood that there was no possibility between him and me. He got up from the ground, reached out to touch the tears in the corners of his eyes, and a sly smile hung on the corners of his mouth. Song Anan, I gave you a chance, you don't want it, right? Then don't blame me for breaking up with you. Do you think I don't know how you get all that money? Don't you make money by sleeping with girls or selling sex? As he said that, he threw a bunch of photos in front of me. The photo was taken when I went in and out of the high-end club to look for male models some time ago. Zhang Tianjie pointed to the gate of the community. How can you afford such a good house? You must be a mistress, being kept by someone, otherwise you. Give me 30 million, I will let you go. Song Anan, I advise you to give me the money quickly. Otherwise I will send all these photos to our mutual friends, to everyone around you, and expose the fact that you are a slut who is ridden by thousands of people on the whole network. I wonder if your sponsor will still want you when he finds out. I crossed my arms and saw that he was so shameless. I couldn't help shaking my head. The man I loved for 4 years was not worthy of being a human being that I sneered. Do you have other photos? Take them out together, otherwise I'm hungry and I'm going home to eat. Zhang Tianjie saw that I was indifferent, and he was a little panicked. Like the last trump card, he took a nude photo of me from his pocket. It was taken by him when we lived together. I didn't know he would do such a thing, the moment I saw the photo. My heart trembled, seeing my dazed look. Zhang Tianjie thought he had caught me and threatened me. 30 million. Otherwise, I will post the photo everywhere at the gate of the community, so that everyone will know what kind of person you are and see what you look like without clothes. I quickly sorted out my thoughts and took the photo. I commented with satisfaction, saying that I had a good figure at that time, and this photo was quite good. Alas, I have become fat because of laziness recently. Zhang Tianjie stared at me. Aren't you afraid that I will be exposed? I raised the corner of my mouth slightly. Zhang Tianjie, what era is it, and you still do this? You say I go in and out of various clubs and bars, so you want to humiliate me as a slut. Even if I really slept with a few men, so what? Naked photos. It's just a body. I have it, you have it, and everyone in the world has it. If you like to post it everywhere, just post it everywhere, so that everyone can see my good figure. You say I have a sponsor? I'm really sorry. I don't have any sponsors. I'm just lucky. I won 700 million in the lottery. Hee hee. It was the day you kicked me out of the house that I watched Zhang Tianjie's face gradually turn pale. He held the photo in his hand, and his hands kept shaking. He lowered his head and silently recited, 700 million. I took out the mobile phone in my pocket and waved it. I recorded how you threatened and blackmailed me. I will call the police now, and you can wait to go to jail. In other words, as long as I see these photos spread anywhere, you believe me, I will spend 100 million. I will find someone to kill you. If you don't believe me, just try it. Hearing what I said, a trace of panic flashed across Zhang Tianjie's face. He threw the photo in his hand and didn't mention the 30 million anymore. I watched him run away. It seemed that if he ran a step slower, I would send him to jail. I looked down at my phone, and there was no recording at all. I didn't have time to turn on the recording at that time, but it was just to scare him. I know him too well. He is just a guy who has the heart but not the courage. After I scared him last time, Zhang Tianjie never appeared in front of me again. And I didn't really want to know his current situation. But in order to prevent the last incident from happening, I was also worried that he would jump off the wall, so I hired a few bodyguards to protect me when I go out. The life of a rich woman was a bit boring after a while. One of my original 4 jobs was what I was most interested in, that is, medical beauty. I used the existing funds to open a beauty salon of my own, specializing in high-end projects. Relying on the connections I accumulated in Thomson II, in just a few months, my beauty salon became famous. And some people of status came to my house for medical beauty. My beauty salon opened 3 branches within half a year and made a lot of money. So far, I finally believe that money can make money. Although such a life is quite fulfilling, I always feel that something is missing. One day when I went home, I ran into my neighbor downstairs. The neighbor downstairs is Wang, the vice president of the A City Hospital. I chatted with him for a while and he said that their hospital had a donation project recently to help cancer patients with surgery. After listening to his introduction, I immediately became interested. Now I have a lot of money on hand. It would be better if I could help some people. I decided to donate immediately. President Wang suggested that I go to the hospital to understand the situation on the spot and see the specific objects or projects I want to donate. I came to the hospital early the next morning. A special person in charge took me to visit the hospital. He introduced me to several patients with cancer. And some of them were only 6 or 7 years old. The parents took them to seek medical treatment everywhere. In order to save a little money, the family slept in the corridor of the hospital just to give their children a chance of life. Seeing this, I couldn't help but feel heartbroken. I immediately decided to take full responsibility for all the medical expenses of the 3 children with cancer. That I think this is the only thing I can do, the person in charge continued to introduce me. After a few steps, he stopped and pointed to an old lady who was sitting in a wheelchair at the time. The old lady sat hunched on the chair, her hands trembling slightly. She wanted to drink water, but she spilled the water several times when she passed it to her mouth. After chemotherapy, she lost her hair and her whole body was black. The person in charge introduced to me that this Aunt Zhang was very pitiful. She had the first operation, and the cancer cells spread again not long after the operation. At first we thought her son was a filial son, but before the second operation, we had to pay the fee. And her son disappeared. He has not appeared in the past 6 months. I heard that he owed a lot of money from gambling and ran away. Now she relies on the hospital's assistance to keep her alive, but she does not meet the requirements of the donation object. If she does not have the operation again, she may not survive these 2 months. Hearing what the person in charge said, my heart softened. It was indeed a bit pitiful. But looking at the back of the old man, I couldn't help but feel very familiar. That I took 2 steps forward. And Aunt Zhang turned her head and looked into my eyes. When I saw her face clearly, my eyes widened immediately, because that person was none other than Zhang Tianjie's mother. Zhang's mother recognized me immediately after taking one look at me. She frowned, and a mean expression suddenly appeared on her face. Her wrinkled face wrinkled together, and she pointed at me and cursed, "How dare you appear in front of me? Do you want to kill me again?" While speaking, she suddenly stood up and wanted to throw a water cup at me. I don't know why she hates me so much. The person in charge protected me behind her and explained that Aunt Zhang was probably a little mentally ill. And Miss Song, please don't mind. Zhang's mother shouted, "I am very sober. It is this bitch who has killed our whole family. I got cancer because of her, and my son is now missing because of her." As she spoke, I saw her face full of tears. I took 2 steps towards her, and my heart ached. After all, I am an orphan. I have never felt maternal love. The only warmth from my mother I have ever felt is from her, although it is all fake. I sighed and expressed my confusion. "Auntie, when Zhang Tianjie didn't win the prize, weren't you very good to me? You also said that you treated me as your daughter. Why now?" Before I finished speaking, Zhang's mother pouted at me. In the past, it was because you could endure hardships and make money, and you were easy to manipulate. We all have money, so what do we need you for? You are not my daughter, you are a jinx that kills your parents. Get out of here quickly." After saying that, she pushed me hard and spoke to the person in charge with a smile on her face. "Director Zhao, when will my donor come? You also know that I can't survive if I don't get money for surgery." The person in charge looked at her and turned to look at me. He pointed at me, "Auntie Zhang, Miss Song is the donor." Hearing this, Zhang Tianjie's mother's face suddenly changed. Her sick face was even more haggard. She glanced at me, took a few steps back, and almost sat on the ground. "How is it possible?" She confirmed with the person in charge several times before she dared to believe this fact. Zhang Tianjie's mother looked at me, her hands trembling, and "This is all a misunderstanding. Auntie is joking with you. You see, Tianjie is not at home now. Auntie is not your only daughter now. Auntie has to ask you for the money for the operation." As she said, she also reached out and held my hand. I was stunned in place. Looking at her sudden change of attitude, I slightly raised the corners of my lips and smiled with sarcasm. Sure enough, they are really good at acting. I pulled back my hand and spoke to the person in charge beside me. I refuse to donate to her. She can find whoever she wants. Anyway, I won't donate. Zhang Tianjie's mother immediately panicked. "No, if Auntie doesn't have the operation again, she will die. And please be kind, please be kind." I turned around and walked away, listening to her kneeling and crying behind me, and I didn't even look back. Later, I still couldn't bear it. After all, she had given me the warmth of a mother. I thought that no matter what others did, I felt that I should do it with a clear conscience. That I chose to bear all the expenses of Zhang Tianjie's mother's surgery. But how to say it, she was not lucky. God didn't want her to live. or the surgery was really delayed for too long. Not long after Zhang Tianjie's mother had the surgery, she died of organ failure one night. Because Zhang Tianjie couldn't be contacted, the funeral was handled by the community, and she was simply cremated and buried. After another half a year, my beauty salon is now getting bigger and bigger. And I have branches all over the country. I even developed skin care products on my own, which were sold out soon after they were launched. The 400 million yuan left in my card has also doubled in more than a year, and now my assets have reached tens of billions that I think my account balance will only increase in the future. That I, in addition to working hard to make money, I think I should also give back to this society. I use the money I earn to start doing public welfare and set up many charitable foundations to help children with cancer to treat their diseases. At the same time, I also opened several welfare homes in my name to help orphans like me grow up happily. I also opened several girls' schools in remote mountainous areas, hoping to help more and more girls get out of the mountains and become self-reliant. Now my career is going very smoothly, and I have no plans to find a boyfriend for the time being. After all, I am so rich. As soon as I want to fall in love, a group of handsome guys will come to me, and now I have found my life goal. And my house has been changed to the best floor and the largest top floor of Thompson's second floor. Sometimes when I sit on the high platform and look at the bright neon lights downstairs, I will think of those words that say I am a nemesis, but I think that successful people are always lonely. Anyway, it's good to have money to spend, no matter whether he is lonely or not. 2 months later, my sister and I made an appointment to go out for a trip to relax together, and I covered all the expenses. We were bathing in the sun on the beach in Hawaii. We were chatting. And Lily suddenly mentioned Zhang Tianjie, whom I hadn't seen for a long time. And then, you don't know yet, Zhang Tianjie was sold to northern Myanmar. After hearing what Lily said, I was stunned for a few seconds, and I couldn't believe what I heard. What? How could it be possible? Lily patiently explained to me that according to my husband, Zhang Tianjie owed tens of millions of dollars from gambling, and then he heard Jing Xiaoya say that there was a big business in northern Myanmar that could be turned around in half a year. So he packed his luggage and went there immediately. At that time, he wanted to pull my husband into the group, but my husband didn't agree, and asked us to borrow a few thousand yuan for travel expenses and left. After that, a few months later, my husband received a video call from Zhang Tianjie, asking us to borrow money, saying that he would make money with us and wanted to borrow a few million to do business. But when I looked at his appearance, I knew at a glance that he had been beaten, and his voice was trembling, as if he was threatened. I was cautious and called the police at that time, but the police later said that the number was a black number and could not be traced at all, and then the matter was left unresolved. At that time, you were not discussing business abroad, so I did not tell you. I guess it is impossible to find it now. I took a sip of the champagne in my hand. I always thought that Zhang Tianjie was hiding because he owed a debt. I never thought that he was deceived and went to northern Myanmar. However, his ending has nothing to do with me. He is asking for trouble, isn't he? I was in a daze, and another little sister next to me supplemented, that's right, doesn't my boyfriend work in the police station? Didn't he say that he rescued some people from northern Myanmar some time ago? At that time, there was a person who looked very much like Jing Xiaoya, but it was scary, so I didn't dare to recognize her. Now I think about it, that person must be her, exactly the same, and her name is also Xiaoya. I put down the champagne glass in my hand. Okay, let's not talk about this, let's talk about something happy. This article ends. Next. Let me tell you the second story. My boyfriend's family won 3 million in lottery and quickly dumped me. I don't care. My foreign relative passed away last night and just passed on a 10 billion inheritance to me. What a pity. I wanted to give him 20 million today to buy a villa. My boyfriend Su Dong and I have been dating for 10 years. He has always been very good to me, including his family. My parents say that I am lucky. Not only did I find a good boyfriend, but my future mother-in-law is even more tolerant of me and treats me like her own daughter. Even a foreign relative passed away and passed on a 10 billion inheritance to my father. My father patted my shoulder earnestly and said, Rong Rong, although our family has become rich all of a sudden, we can't despise Su Dong's family. And you can't be too ambitious and change other men by relying on your wealth. I took my father's hand with a smile. Dad, what are you talking about? Am I such a heartless person? I plan to give his family 20 million and let him buy a villa with Su Dong's name on it to make their family feel at ease. But I was slapped in the face the next day. On the 5th of every month, Su Dong would take me to his house for dinner, and Su Dong's mother would cook a large table of my favorite dishes. I was very embarrassed and said that it would be fine to eat outside. Every time I wanted to help wash the dishes after dinner, Su Dong's mother pushed me to the sofa and asked me to sit and watch TV, and this time when I went to his house, the rich meals on the table turned into leftovers. I was stunned for a moment, and didn't think too much. I planned to take them to the most expensive restaurant in the city with a minimum consumption of 10,000 yuan to eat. Just when I was about to speak, Su Dong's mother sat on the sofa, saw me coming, and said, "Our family has always eaten this kind of food, you have to get used to it. Every time you come, I have to cook a table of dishes, which makes me feel so distressed." I looked at Su Dong and asked him with my eyes, "Is your mother crazy today?" Unexpectedly, Su Dong avoided my sight and looked down at the floor. Su Dong's mother raised her chin, her eyes full of contempt for me, and said arrogantly, "It's like this, our family won 3 million in the lottery yesterday. Su Dong didn't dare to break up with you, so I'll say it on his behalf. In the past, we saw that our family conditions were much worse than yours, and we were afraid that your family would not agree, so we supported you and waited for you to marry into our family. Since you won 3 million, I think your family is not that good." I repeated it again. "Your family won 3 million? Su Dong's mother thought I was too shocked and had never seen the world, and said disdainfully, "Country bumpkin, you haven't heard of so much money, your family only has one house in the city. If you want to marry into our family, this house must be written in the name of Su Dong's younger brother, so that our family has a ready-made wedding house, and in the future, only Su Dong's father and I can be supported in old age. Let your own parents handle it themselves, so I reluctantly let you marry in. What kind of person is this? Only 3 million and he is so arrogant that my family inherited a legacy of tens of billions. Yesterday I told my father that I wanted to buy them a villa so that Mr. Su could feel at ease. Today, Su Dong's family, who looked down on others, wanted to make me an unfilial daughter first. That if my father knew what Su Dong's mother said today, he would probably come up and beat this shameless wife to death. I still can't believe that the family who treated me so well in the past actually changed their faces because of winning the lottery. Su Dong's mother shook the fan in her hand, adding fuel to the fire again. "You are almost 30 years old, almost at the age of old age, and your family is average. Our Su Dong has been chased by a girl who just graduated from school recently. She is so young that she can definitely help our Su family give birth to a big fat boy. I am happy when I think about it. It turns out that they think their family has risen to heaven after winning 3 million. They treated me well in the past because they were afraid that my family would look down on them. So they kept me stable first and planned to show their true colors after I married in. It's just that winning the lottery has accelerated the progress of their family's true colors. You know that you washed the dishes once when you came to my house for the first time. How could I dare to let you continue washing dishes? The detergent and water were free. My heart felt like being stabbed by a knife. No wonder every time I wanted to help after dinner, they asked me to sit down. It was not because they were reluctant to use my hands to wash the dishes, but because they were reluctant to spend the water and detergent. You know that in our family, we just wipe the dishes with a wet rag after eating. You use so much detergent every time. Didn't your family teach you? After listening to it, I remembered that it was no wonder that I always felt that the dishes and chopsticks were greasy when I ate in the past. I didn't think too much. It turned out that I just wiped them with a wet rag and considered them washed. I felt like I was going to vomit the New Year's Eve dinner I had eaten in their house in the past few years. When I rushed to the toilet to vomit, the doorbell rang. "Auntie, I brought abalone to you today. You told me on the phone that your family had 3 million. That's great. My dad will definitely agree to my marriage with Su Dong. This voice sounds so familiar. Like a new colleague in Su Dong's company, a girl in her early 20s that I know her because I went to Su Dong's company to find him a few days ago and saw him close to a girl. Su Dong explained to me at that time that it was the girl who was pestering him. How could he like girls other than me? I opened the bathroom door and walked out. It was that girl, Zhang Xiaoxiao, that I didn't expect the girl to chase me home. When Zhang Xiaoxiao saw me, there was not even a trace of surprise on her face, but she turned around and asked Su Dong impatiently, "Brother Dong, have you broken up with her?" "My dad has agreed to our marriage because your family has 3 million. It sounds like this couple has reached the stage of discussing marriage, and I am still foolishly kept in the dark." Su Dong came to me and actually knelt down to beg me, crying and saying, "Rongrong, please let me go. You are poor and don't drag me down. Our family finally became rich. Xiao Xiao is younger than you and can definitely help me give birth to a son. You are older and definitely can't compare to a young girl in all aspects." I just stood there and listened to Su Dong's shameless words. I have been with him for so many years. Does he treat me as a reproductive machine? At the beginning, he said that he didn't want to be restricted by marriage and children when he was young. Now that he wants to have a child, he dislikes my age. I recalled that he was the least outstanding one among my many suitors. I chose him because he looked honest and kind to me. Sure enough, you can't choose a man who looks honest. You see. He started to jump around as soon as he was a little successful in his career, and he became more and more cunning. It is the most ridiculous idea for a woman to want a man to be nice to her. He has no money, and besides being nice to you, how else can he lure you into the trap and make you devoted to him? Zhang Xiaoxiao said, "I will give you 20,000 yuan to leave Donggu. Don't be ungrateful." Su Dong's mother ate melon seeds and said proudly, "Giving her 20,000 yuan is too much. It is her great fortune to be able to associate with my son for so many years. Giving her money is giving her face, isn't it?" After Su Dong's mother finished speaking, she rubbed her hands again, licked her face and asked again, "If giving her 20,000 yuan is not counted as the dowry you gave to my family, then you can send her away at will." The anger in my heart saw this ridiculous scene, but I felt fortunate instead. A blessed woman will not enter a door without blessings. I leaned close to Zhang Xiaoxiao's ear and said to her, "This family of top-notch products is given to you, but their dishes and chopsticks are not washed with detergent, just wipe them with a wet rag. Be careful of food poisoning." I walked out of Su Dong's house, and Zhang Xiaoxiao's voice came from behind, "Just like my vomiting just now." I smiled and wiped away the tears from the corners of my eyes. I told myself, "Don't cry, the crown will fall off." My dad called me, "Rongrong, have you told Su Dong that we have an inheritance to buy him a villa to make him feel at ease? Our family is not the kind of people who will abandon him after having sex." When I heard my dad's voice, my tears that had stopped suddenly burst out like a fountain. "Rongrong, why are you crying?" "Dad wants to cry when he hears you crying." "Have you been bullied by anyone?" I sobbed and told him about the bullying I had suffered at Su Dong's house today. He was silent for a long time on the other end of the phone, and then cursed, "He is a bastard, dare to bully my daughter. I will take a knife and kill them at their house immediately." And oh, Dad, it is not worth going to jail for their family. I have thought of a good way to make them angry to death. My daughter, Dad will support you no matter what method you think of. I was originally planning to buy him a villa, but now I plan to buy 5 for myself, and then post a circle of friends so that only Su Dong's family can see it. Although we are rich, we should be low-key when showing off our wealth. My dad immediately transferred 500 million to me. "Rongrong, is it enough? If not, I will give you a little more." I thought about the recent housing prices and looked at my clothes. "Dad, give me another 100 million, but not too much. I am afraid that I can't control myself and spend too much." "That's fine. My daughter can spend all the inheritance. 100 million is definitely not enough. I will give you another 200 million." Then, the Alipay payment notification sound rang, "And your 300 million has been received." The people on the street looked at me like I was mentally retarded. I could guess what they were thinking. They must be crazy about money. After the money arrived, I went to the real estate company to experience the one-time full payment for a villa. The salesperson saw that I was dressed simply at first, and didn't take me seriously when he saw me come in. He glanced at me with his eyes slanting, curled his lips, and casually called a salesperson to greet me, and continued to receive a person dressed like a rich woman. I sneered, not caring about his behavior of looking down on others, because he would regret it later and miss my huge commission. This building, I have it, with money. I instantly became confident. I felt that I was now the contemporary Wu Zetian, with the domineering power of ruling the world. You bought so many houses. Do you need me to ask the leader to apply for some discounts for you? I waved my hand and said indifferently, it's all small money, not worth mentioning. The discount applied for will be regarded as your commission. This is not allowed. Our company has regulations. Oh, I almost lost myself in the sudden wealth. Sure enough, the real estate is really rich and dazzling. The salesperson who looked down on me just now saw that I bought so many villas at once that he immediately came up to please me and wanted to send away the salesperson who received me. It was wishful thinking. I told their leader that the commission could only be counted on that person. I taught the salesperson who looked down on others a hard lesson. After buying the villa, I went to a luxury store to buy bags and clothes that I only dared to buy in my dreams. I even bought a 5-carat diamond ring, which was better for taking photos with the property certificate. When I got the property certificate, I spread out the pages with my name on the 5 villa property certificates one by one to make sure that my name could be seen on them. I turned on the lights on the side, took a picture, and uploaded it to Moments. The copy was, the property certificate is finally issued. I live in one of the 5 villas for 2 days in turn. It's so tiring. Then set it to be visible only to Su Dong's family on WeChat. After a while, many WeChat messages came in a row. I opened them and saw that they were all voice messages from Su Dong. I didn't want to hear his unlucky voice enter my ears, so I directly converted the voice to text. Su Dong's general meaning is that just because I found a rich girl, you should not become a mistress of a rich man and ask him to buy you a house. This can be recovered. By then, you will be old and you will lose both your money and your lover. You should be down to earth and rely on your own strength. Fuck you, do you rely on your own strength? Suddenly I felt very boring. I wanted to show off my wealth in front of him and let him know that I am also a rich man. It's just that there is still a place for Su Dong in my heart. I live in a villa now, wear a 5-carat diamond ring, and wear all branded clothes. Why do I still think about a cheap man? I blocked all Su Dong's family from my WeChat, for this seemingly insignificant breakup. I even took a leave of absence for half a month. Even though I am a rich man now, I still want to be a simple worker. I in the morning. I still rode my donkey and arrived at the company on time as usual. I pressed the elevator button, and at the same time, a pair of warm, bony hands covered my hands and pressed the elevator button. I looked at the owner of the hand in astonishment. He looked like a college graduate. The youthful and energetic breath was overwhelming, making me, a 30-year-old sister, a little intoxicated, as if I was back to school. Sister, the elevator door is open, are you still going in? I was distracted and was suddenly brought back to reality by him. I went in, after entering the elevator. I pressed the 5th floor, but I didn't expect the little boy to press the 5th floor as well. Sister, don't you recognize me after taking a leave for half a month? I am an employee who just came from campus some time ago. You are still my interviewer. Let me introduce myself again. My name is Lin Jianshen. The name Lin Jianshen made me think about it, and I seem to have some impression of it. It's mainly because it's the name of the male protagonist of the domineering CEO. And it's hard not to be impressed when it's paired with this milk dog face that doesn't fit the domineering CEO. The little milk dog saw that it took me a long time to remember, and said a little aggrievedly, I'm in the same department as my sister. Just when the elevator reached the 5th floor, I urged Lin Jianshen to get out quickly, not to be late. I couldn't be late on the first day of work after taking a half-month leave. The leader saw Lin Jianshen following me. Shaoli, come to work, this is Lin Jianshen, remember, we went to the university to recruit him together. My dear leader. I just skipped this topic, and you brought it up again. The leader stabbed me again, Shaoli. Since Shaolin was recruited together, Xiao Wang, who led Shaolin during the internship, resigned, and it happened that you were working, so I'll take care of him. That I vaguely felt that there was an invisible tail behind the little milk dog that was about to shake to the sky. Looking at Lin Jianshan's face, I was still willing to take care of the newcomer and use his face to wash away my bad luck in recent days that I have been in contact with Lin Jianshan for some time. Of course, it is normal happiness. Although he is the little milk dog's younger brother, I should have taken care of him both at work and in life, but on the other hand, he is always very considerate to me. Before I go to work every day, there is already a hot breakfast and a cup of lemon tea in my cup. There is also a cushion on the chair that fits my body shape so that I can lean on it more comfortably and slack off more comfortably, for afternoon tea. He took the initiative to order the milk tea and cake I wanted before I asked that. I told him that he didn't need to please me so much. With his excellent work ability, I would agree to his regularization after the internship period. Lin Jianshan was surprised. I just wanted to be nice to my sister. Is that not okay? Who can refuse the angry face of the little milk dog? My ex-boyfriend was supported by me like a mother. This is the first time someone has cared about me. And no matter if he is sincere or trying to please me to get a chance to become a regular employee. That day, my former college roommate called me and asked, Rong, are you going to the college reunion next week? When I thought about meeting that jerk Su Dong, I felt like I was going to vomit the meal I had the previous year. I immediately refused and said I would not go. The roommate on the other end of the phone said anxiously, Rong, you must go this time. Su Dong said everywhere in the alumni group that after he dumped you, you degenerated into being the mistress of a rich man. And he also said that he would bring his fiancée this time. Su Dong was probably afraid that I would discredit him, so he took the initiative. The 5 villa certificates I showed last time made him think that I was being kept by someone. It was funny. The roommate suddenly thought of something and laughed a few times in a lewd way. He, I have a few little brothers here. I will send you their photos. You can pick one and bring him to the class reunion. We sisters have money and beauty to keep little milk dogs, which will piss off that couple. As he said that, the WeChat notification tones on the phone rang one after another. The roommate's resources are great. There are so many little brother resources. Why didn't you share some with me earlier? The photos of the brothers sent by my roommate made me dizzy. All of them had solid 6-pack abs and chest muscles. My tears flowed from the corners of my mouth. Sister, why do you choose the faraway one? I have a ready-made brother next to you. Why don't you choose it? A resentful voice sounded beside my ear that I was so scared that my phone fell to the ground. And only my roommate was left shouting on the other end of the phone, Li Rong, these brothers are not satisfied. I still have brothers, a lot of brothers, and endless brothers. There are only 2 words in my mind now, like an echo, constantly playing brother. I coughed lightly. That's it, brother, Ba, Jianshan. My roommate is joking. I plan to go alone. Brother is too beautiful. I don't deserve it. I heard it all on the phone just now. You are rumored to be supported. You can take me over to prove your sister's strength, with my face and figure. Only a rich sister can afford to support me, right? Lin Jianshan's words made me feel strangely moved. I told Lin Jianshan the time and place, and told him not to expect to do me a favor, because he usually doesn't work hard. Lin Jianshan pouted after hearing this, and his little look was quite cute. Soon it was the day of the class reunion. I went to the cloakroom and walked around for a long time, and finally decided to pick the most expensive clothes for all the clothes, not the most suitable, just the most expensive. I was waiting for Lin Jianshan to arrive at the door of the hotel. But unfortunately, the couple came first. Oh, isn't this Sister Rong? Long time no see. Zhang Xiao held Su Dong intimately. I said puzzledly, my mother only gave birth to me as a daughter, and now cats and dogs have started to recognize relatives randomly. Zhang Xiao is indeed a high-ranking person. She was not angry when I said that. Instead, she raised her hand intentionally or unintentionally, revealing the diamond ring on her hand. Brother Dong bought it for me. It is a diamond ring that is only given to one person in a lifetime. It is not like some people's diamond rings that they beg old men to give them. I will marry Brother Dong soon. I want to help Brother Dong give birth to a big fat boy. Su Dong also advised me beside me, Rong, you are not young anymore. Although I dumped you, you can't find someone who can be your father's age to support you. If you don't get married, be careful that you won't be able to have children in the future. I laughed in anger, with the corners of my mouth raised, and approached Su Dong step by step. Do you have evidence that I am being supported? And Su Dong, do you think women are just reproductive tools? You only won 3 million in the lottery, but you are so proud of it. But do you know that I inherited a legacy of 10 billion? Su Dong was so frightened by what I said that he fell to the ground, and his speech was slurred. Hundreds of billions, inheritance. Zhang Xiaoxiao was afraid that Su Dong would come back to me after hearing this, and said, Brother Dong, she lied to you. She must be kept by an old man with a big money. Sister, are they talking about old men like me? But I just graduated from college. Someone held my shoulders. I looked up and saw that it was Lin Jianchen, and he even winked at me. He dressed differently today than usual in the company, wearing a serious black suit. The suit was of extraordinary quality, and finally made the name Lin Jianchen look like a domineering president. Zhang Xiaoxiao couldn't believe that I could find such a handsome guy, and said sourly, You are not using the money of the big money to support a gigolo. I proudly hit back, Sister is the big money himself. Then she twisted Lin Jianchen's head to my shoulder. This is my new boyfriend, Lin Jianchen. Isn't he handsome and young? Lin Jianchen understood immediately and patted my chest shyly. Sister, you are annoying. I proudly hugged Lin Jianchen's waist, twisted my butt, turned around and walked away, leaving only a chic back. When we walked to a place where they couldn't see each other, it seemed like a hot potato to hug Lin Jianchen's waist again. So I let go at once, but I actually felt a little regretful in my heart. The palm of my hand still carried the burning temperature of Lin Jianchen's waist, which seemed to be transmitted to my heart through my palm, and my heart was boiling. Lin Jianchen saw that I let go too quickly, and the corners of his lips curled up. Sister, wasn't it very brave to twist my head just now? Now you let go so quickly after taking advantage of it, and your brother is really a little sad that he pushed me to the corner of the wall. Using the height advantage to make me feel a little oppressive when I was a little embarrassed, I almost said shamelessly, Otherwise I will give myself to you. My roommates, several college classmates, and adulterers all came one after another. Rong, this is your new boyfriend. He looks younger and more handsome than someone. My roommate kept staring at Su Dong when she said this, fearing that others would not know that she was referring to him. Su Dong's face turned dark. Zhang Xiaoxiao looked back and forth at Su Dong and Lin Jianchen's faces. And she put down her hand that was originally holding Su Dong intimately. I took the opportunity to escape from Lin Jianchen's oppression and tidied my appearance. Everyone walked into the big box and sat down. Generally, this kind of class reunion is a show of wealth and comparison. You see, my bag is the latest model of Chanel this year, your bag is from last year, and you said it is the latest model this year. I can tell at a glance. Jean Chingcheng, who likes to buy bags the most, said, changing the subject, Rong, I see the bag you are carrying today is very nice. The Hermès Himalaya. When everyone heard this, they all looked at my bag. I saw that my purpose of showing off my wealth was achieved, so I put away the bag pretentiously. It wasn't very expensive, so I bought it casually. Rong is still amazing. The boyfriend she found in college was young and handsome. After so many years of graduation, she still found a young and handsome boyfriend. Unlike my husband, he is now very fat and his children can go to elementary school. A college classmate of mine insinuated that I have not married yet. I fought back. Men like 18-year-old girls until they die, and women should also have ideals. I pulled Lin Jianchen aside. With this face and this figure, who would not praise it as great? Chen Jun, who has a good relationship with Su Dong, said, Li Rong, you are not young anymore, and you are still looking for someone so young. Will people be willing to marry you? Wait until you run away with all your money. Su Dong, I will definitely help you to have a beautiful wedding in my hotel, the roommate asked in surprise. When did you open a hotel? Chen Jun raised his eyebrows, as if waiting for praise. And waved his hand and said, that's not the case, I'm just a department director in the hotel where we are eating now, which is not a big deal, but seeing that you are all small employees now, I feel that I am doing well. Some people present felt offended by this and their faces turned green, but there are still people who compliment Chen Jun. Brother Jun is amazing. My third aunt's son wants to come to this hotel to be a small employee but he has no chance. You have become a director, and the general manager is just around the corner. Brother Jun, when can I help you with your work? And give me 5,000 yuan a month is fine, Zhang Xiaoxiao said. I have to thank Brother Jun a lot. Thanks to Brother Jun, I can book a banquet. My friends and relatives envy me for being able to book a banquet at this hotel. After all, others have to book a year in advance, Chen Jun said generously. Okay, maybe I will be the general manager next year. Everyone come and help me. I will pay you 10,000 a month. Lin Jianchen said meaningfully, you start dreaming in broad daylight, and the dream is quite beautiful. Zhang Xiaoxiao said disdainfully, what does it have to do with you? You little white face, do you have the right to speak? Lin Jianchen is also quite eloquent. I think we are about the same age. You say I am a little white face, then what are you? I gave Lin Jianchen a thumbs up. The young man's speech is very promising. At this time, the door of the box was knocked, and a person walked in, followed by 2 waiters. We didn't know who this person who walked in inexplicably was, and we were all confused. Only Chen Jun stood up immediately, and the table was shaken by him. General Manager, why are you here? I am taking a break today and meeting with my college classmates. Did you come to see me specially? The classmates who had supported him before continued to flatter him, saying that Jun was amazing, and the leaders came to show their concern for him when he met with his classmates. The manager looked puzzled. What are you talking about? Then he said respectfully to Lin Jianchen, young master, why did you come to the hotel today without saying hello to me? How can such a small box be suitable for your status? Everyone looked at me, and I looked at Lin Jianchen. Is this guy wearing a vest? Chen Jun was just flattered and looked proud, but now he immediately became depressed, like an eggplant hit by frost. Lin Jianchen said indifferently, I went to visit my hotel incognito to see if there are any borers. I just found one that he pointed at Chen Jun. This man relied on his status as a director to jump the queue to order a banquet for others. If other guests in the hotel knew that our hotel was so unfair, wouldn't our reputation be affected? The manager took out a handkerchief from his pocket, wiped his sweat frantically, and said flatteringly, then young master, look. Otherwise I will fire him now and make a public announcement to set an example. Chen Jun's face was pale. He didn't expect that he would lose his job just because he had a meal. Rongrong's boyfriend is a hotel owner. Rongrong is simply a role model for our generation. I thought she was a gigolo, but I didn't expect that her family still runs a hotel. Su Dong and Zhang Xiaoxiao's faces are colorful now, which is really wonderful that I feel that I really brought the right people here. This forced me to pretend and feel good. Chen Jun's tears and snot were running. And he even knelt on the ground to beg Lin Jianchen, Master, don't fire me. I have old people and children. My family depends on me. Now there is an epidemic. Where can I find another job? Seeing that Lin Jianchen ignored him, he knelt in front of me again and slapped himself crazily. Rongrong, please help me beg your boyfriend. If my wife knows that I am unemployed, she will definitely divorce me. Just now, he was boasting in front of everyone and belittling others. But now he is kneeling on the ground begging the gigolo he called. The kneeling and humble appearance makes people look quite sad. After all, everyone has been classmates for 4 years, and some people still can't bear to help him plead. Now during the epidemic, it is not easy for everyone to make money. Rongrong, talk to your boyfriend and let him go. I pulled the corner of Lin Jianchen's clothes and looked at him. Lin Jianchen said, doesn't he want to be the general manager? Give him a manager position. then let him be demoted to the lobby manager. Oh. And the banquet for these two people was cancelled for cutting in line. Let's queue up normally. When she heard that the banquet was cancelled, Zhang Xiaoxiao was unwilling. Why? Chen Jun has arranged it for us. Lin Jianchen raised his legs and crossed his legs. Because the hotel is opened by my family. What's wrong? Do you have any objections? Zhang Xiaoxiao wanted to make trouble again, but was pulled out of the box by Su Dong. Isn't it embarrassing enough, everyone? We will leave first. Chen Jun also left in embarrassment. Before coming, I was the director of the hotel department. And when I left, I was the lobby manager. Life is just like this. Although there were many twists and turns in the beginning of this meal, everyone had a very happy meal in the end, because the hotel's young master was there. Not only did the level of the meal directly rise to the highest level, but everyone even saved the AA meal money, and each person was given a senior membership card of the hotel. When the dinner ended and left, my roommate was drunk and hugged me. Li Rongrong, your boyfriend is very awesome today. What is this? Called that I followed up. This is called pretending to be struck by lightning, and the law of heaven will take it away. The two of us staggered, and it felt like we were back to the green days of college, when we were still carefree college students. That I in the end, it was Lin Jianchen who pulled us apart, called my roommate's boyfriend, and stuffed us into a taxi. That I vaguely remembered that I was chatting with my roommate the previous second, and the next second I opened my eyes and was lying on my big bed at home. There was a man lying next to me, with a smooth and white face. The golden sunlight hit his face, and I could see fine hairs. That I couldn't help but stretch out my hand and slide down his superior and tall nose like a staircase. Then the boy blinked a few times and was about to wake up, and hummed a few words in dissatisfaction. Sister, no, I can't stand it. That I was so scared that I retracted my hand, turned over and pulled the quilt to pretend to be asleep. Damn it, Lin Jianchen was lying next to me. That I know you are awake. Li Rongrong, look at what you did to me yesterday, relying on drinking to humiliate others. That I couldn't pretend anymore, so I could only open my eyes embarrassedly. And then I saw Lin Jianchen lift the quilt, revealing the blue and purple scars and pinch marks on his body, as if he was accusing me of my behavior last night. That I asked this all the good things I did last night when I was drunk. It turns out that I am so crazy and wild after drinking. Will Lin Jianchen go to the police station to sue me for assault as soon as he leaves this bed? I trembled and said the words I hadn't said before. Otherwise I will compensate you with myself. That I finally said this sentence hidden in my heart at this opportunity. And then waited for his answer anxiously. That I kept struggling in my mind, wondering if he would think that I was taking advantage of the opportunity to eat tender grass, and whether I did it on purpose last night. When I kept thinking about this and that, Lin Jianchen said, you have to compensate me for my whole life. That it brought me back to my senses. What? It made me suddenly feel that he had planned it for a long time. Lin Jianchen's clothes on his shoulders were half exposed, revealing half of his shoulders, and said, Sister bullied me yesterday. Are you going to take it all away today and deny it? Then he looked at me with his dog eyes wet. What else can I say? I have to accept this dog with tears in my eyes. After all, I have to pay back the debt I owe myself. That I was in love again, like a tree blooming. My back straightened. I could go up to the 9th floor in one breath. My boss praised me for my improved ability to do things. My colleagues praised me for being beautiful. As expected, love is the best preservative for women. Love is a good thing. Love should be talked about. Lin Jianchen never asked me why a working-class worker like me could have enough money to live in different villas in a week. We have a 10 billion inheritance and a big hotel young master, and we don't look rich at all. One rides a donkey in the morning, the other squeezes into the subway, and only adds an egg to the pancake. The life of rich people is so simple. That day, my father called me and asked me to deposit some of the inheritance in the bank, or buy a fixed deposit if it's not possible. He said he couldn't accept his sudden wealth. And there was so much money left, he couldn't help but want to spend it all. Dad, don't worry, this much money can last us until the next life. Just make money. If it's not possible, you can buy funds, liquor, medical funds, and buy as much as you can. We can't spend all the money. That I urged my dad, but he was unmoved. The older generation is more pragmatic. After I arrived at the bank, I quietly pulled the lobby manager aside and told him the amount I wanted to deposit. The lobby manager took a sharp breath, his pupils trembled, and he dug his ears with his little finger. Motioning me to say it again, that I sighed and whispered the amount of money I wanted to deposit into his ear again. The lobby manager immediately took out a phone from his pocket and called someone who was probably a leader. He led me to a small, magnificent room, and even the cup I drank water from was Hermes. A minute later, a man in a suit and tie who looked very stylish pushed the door in. And Su Dong followed behind him. Suddenly, I remembered that Su Dong worked in this bank. The lobby manager introduced me to the president of the bank. He heard that I wanted to deposit 1 billion in the bank, so he came to meet me in person. When Su Dong saw that I was the one who deposited a large amount of money, he looked like he had just eaten shit, and his face was ugly. That I have been dating Su Dong for many years, and the president also looked familiar to me. Are you Su Dong's girlfriend? That's great. That I looked at Su Dong and said, President. That's not good. I'm his ex-girlfriend now. Su Dong suddenly thought of something, and came forward and grabbed my shoulder excitedly, just like Ma Jingtao, and yelled, Is it true that you inherited a 10 billion inheritance last time? Rong, I still love you, let's get back together. I pushed his hand away with disgust, and then wiped the place where he just touched me with a tissue on the table. This move made Su Dong change color, and my disgust was too obvious. The president was obviously a big shot. Seeing that I hated Su Dong so much, he asked him to go out and wanted to talk to me alone. Su Dong still wanted to try to stay. After all, if he could convince me to save so much money, it would also add color to his resume. Under the stalemate between the two sides, I had watched the excitement for a long time and finished the fruit on the table. I stood up and carried my bag. I had things to do today, so I didn't want to deposit money. There are so many banks in City A, and I didn't have to deposit so much money in this place where there were people I hated. The president hurriedly tried to keep me, saying that he could get me the highest interest, and there would be someone to help me manage my finances, and there would be many benefits. That I was not tempted at all. Once upon a time, I was the kind of person who would even apply for a credit card and get an air fryer for free. Now the bank president begged me, but I was dismissive and said, I have so much money, do I still care about the benefits you mentioned? Then I raised my chin proudly and walked out of the reception room. I could still hear the president cursing at Su Dong, You don't know how to cherish such a rich girlfriend. And you don't know how to ask her to come to our bank to deposit money. I think you don't want to get promoted, you useless waste. Su Dong's rebuttal was lost in the president's loud insults, and finally the rebuttal became lower and lower. The corners of my lips curled up. You disdained me at the beginning, and today I will make you out of reach. That I walked out of the bank, turned around, and walked into the bank opposite, all in one go. That I was angry, but I had to complete the task my dad had assigned me. After I deposited the money, the bank president sent me to the door and asked in confusion, Miss Lee, why don't you go to the bank opposite to deposit it? The scale of their bank is bigger than ours, because there is my enemy opposite, so if you want to thank someone, thank this enemy. Ever since Su Dong knew that my 10 billion inheritance was real, there is often a red dot in my WeChat address book. Even if I clicked it off, it would always turn red. I, who have obsessive-compulsive disorder, really felt uncomfortable watching it, seeing that my WeChat was not accepted. He sent me a text message asking for reconciliation, saying that even if your boyfriend is rich, he will break up with you after playing around. Only I am willing to marry you, and I will break up with Zhang Xiaoxiao immediately. Look at the two of us, one has a 10 billion inheritance, and the other won the lottery. Isn't this a perfect match? Then deposit it in the bank together. And I will be the bank president and you will be the president's wife in the future. How impressive! Why are there such ordinary and confident men? That I found out Zhang Xiaoxiao's contact number through various channels and forwarded this message to her, with a note, this man is just like this, you should decide whether to keep him or not. Unfortunately, this message was seen by Lin Jianchen, who pestered me to bring him back to meet his parents. How can I tell my dad that I'm dating a guy who's 7 or 8 years younger than me? Now I'm like a bad girl who won't admit her love for him. I comforted Lin Jianchen, saying, you're still so young, right? You haven't seen the beauty of the world yet. It's too early. I can see that, Li Rongrong, you just want to flirt with me, and then you want to dump me. That I used all my strength to pacify the man who was restless and kept pestering me for a legitimate relationship. A few days later, my dad asked me to accompany him to a dinner party, saying that they were all his old friends and he wanted to see his daughter. When I got there, I found that it was a blind date party in the name of a friend meeting. There were several men of my age at the dinner table, and my dad introduced them to me one by one with a smile. That I greeted them one by one in an awkward but polite manner. My dad leaned close to my ear and whispered in a voice so excited that almost everyone in the room could hear him, "Look at all the young and promising boys that Dad has found for you. Any of them is better than Su Dong. They are all young and promising, Dad. I want to say that my boyfriend is younger than everyone here. And he is a hotel boy. That I was thinking about how to escape this awkward dinner. Should I ask my colleagues to pretend to call me Lao Li? I am sorry that I am late because of the traffic jam. I will drink 3 cups by myself to apologize." That I looked up and saw that one of my dad's friends was followed by Lin Jianchen. That we looked at each other, like fellow villagers meeting each other with tears in our eyes. That I had tears in my eyes because my boyfriend actually came to this blind date. Was he here to meet me, or to meet so many boys? My dad originally thought that one more boy meant that I had one more choice, but seeing that Lin Jianchen was so young, he frowned again. "Lao Lin, your son is a little young. Why don't you have a son earlier?" Lin Jianchen tried his best to win over my dad. "Uncle, I am not young anymore, I have already worked at him." My dad tried his best to match me with the 4 boys present, except Lin Jianchen. "You like to watch talk shows, my daughter may like it too, she likes Penghua. What about you, Uncle?" "I like Penghua too." Then he turned to look at me. "Look. Dad has found you a boy with the same hobbies." Of course I can't do what he wants. I don't like Penghua. I like Wang Jiangwo, because he can do homophonic puns. Then why Dad hit me. "Look at this kid. Come on, let's have a drink." Lin Jianchen was a little impatient to see this situation. "Uncle, let's talk about whether it is possible that Sister Rongrong has a boyfriend." My dad looked at me with a dirty look on his face. How could I not know about my daughter? That I immediately slapped the table, and the table shook 3 times. "Dad, you look down on your daughter too much. My boyfriend is Lin Jianchen. I didn't tell you because I was afraid that you couldn't accept the age difference, but I didn't expect that he was actually your friend's son." Then at the dinner table, Lin Jianchen treated my dad as if he were his own son. Everyone at our table seemed to be a background wall. My dad drank and talked to Lin Jianchen from the heart. "Xiaolin, you are just too young. I will marry my daughter to you if you are a few years older." Lin Jianchen cried sincerely. "Uncle, I can do it, just marry your daughter to me." I in the back and forth. My dad sold me out on the spot. After the dinner, my dad and Lin Jianchen were already in a relationship where the father-in-law liked his son-in-law more and more. He also hiccuped and told me, "Rongrong, you have to take good care of my son. My son is so young, you can't abandon him." And then he said a lot of blah blah, and finally even talked about the 10 billion inheritance. My dad didn't like to make a big fuss about this. I quickly blocked his mouth. Fortunately, there were only us and Lin Jianchen's family at the dinner table. Everyone had left. The next day, after sobering up, Lin Jianchen remembered something and asked me, "Did your uncle tell me yesterday that your family inherited a 10 billion inheritance?" I nodded. "What? Are you going to kidnap me?" Lin Jianchen rushed over like a spoiled kitten. "Sister, I don't want to work hard anymore. I want a rich woman to support me." I pushed him away with disdain. "Your family is not bad. I also asked the young master to support me." Lin Jianchen and I were soon scheduled for marriage, because my father was afraid that Lin Jianchen and I would see through my true nature after dating for a long time. And then it would be over. I had to marry me off quickly while the relationship was fresh. When I was choosing a ring in the jewelry store, I accidentally ran into Zhang Xiaoxiao and another strange man choosing a ring together. The little evil in my heart rose. Should I take a photo to show Su Dong that he had a green hat on his head? Zhang Xiaoxiao rushed up to me excitedly and held my hand. "Sister, thank you for the text message you sent me. I have seen through Su Dong, this scumbag. I am so young and have money. Am I afraid that I can't find a man? He kicked you out with some money. And now he wants to kick me out. I have withdrawn all the stocks that he and I bought together. The stock market has been bad recently, so he is waiting to lose everything. That I was stunned when I heard it. I thought Zhang Xiaoxiao was a love-brained and unreasonable woman. Now she is complaining about Su Dong with me. This world is really wonderful. Before leaving, Zhang Xiaoxiao also added me on WeChat and said that she wanted me to help talk to Lin Jianchen and book a hotel banquet. You can't fire me as your girlfriend. When I distributed the invitations to my colleagues in the company, they all said how I won the youngest little brother in the company without saying a word. No wonder he looks so happy recently. It turns out that it is the nourishment of love. The sisters in the company came to me to ask for secrets, how to conquer the younger brother. I don't know what Lin Jianchen likes about me. Lin Jianchen is better off looking at himself in the mirror than at his face. He runs a hotel in his family. At first, he didn't even know that I had a 10 billion inheritance. In everyone's eyes, I was just an old woman with no money and no looks. When I asked Lin Jianchen what he liked about me, he said mysteriously that he told me on the wedding day and it was a surprise gift. When I went to work in the morning, I saw that everyone was worried and wailing everywhere. What's going on with the shares today? My family is going to be raided by a shares. It's over. My wife will definitely kick me out of the house. Don't mention it. I wanted to raid the bottom of a shares but didn't expect to be raided by a shares. My mobile phone kept ringing text message notifications. I opened it and saw that it was Su Dong again. Please, lend me some money. The stocks I bought have fallen to the bottom and I need money to cover my position. You have so much money. What's wrong with giving me some money? What's your business if I have money? I took a look and ignored it, but he kept sending me messages. So I blacklisted his phone number and got some peace, but I didn't expect Su Dong to bring his mother downstairs to my company to ask me for money. Everyone, come and judge. Li Rongrong, this woman, inherited a 10 billion inheritance and wanted to dump my son and support a gigolo. My son and Li Rongrong have been together for so many years, and women get into trouble when they have money. Su Dong's mother rolled on the ground. When my colleagues pulled me downstairs, there were already many people watching. And some people took videos and posted them on short video platforms. When Su Dong saw me coming, he raised his eyebrows and said triumphantly, "Give me money, and I will let my mother go, otherwise your reputation will be gone." What is reputation? How much is it worth? Can it be used to make a living? In order to get my money, he actually let his mother do this kind of thing. Lin Jianchen also came, and seeing that I was slandered like this, he confronted Su Dong's mother. Seeing that she couldn't win the argument with Lin Jianchen, Su Dong's mother cried and yelled, "The pretty boy is bullying the elderly." That I couldn't make sense, so I could only take coercive measures. That I immediately called the police and called a lawyer, and said to Su Dong, "You have the right to remain silent, but every word you say will be used as evidence in court." What is the truth? Don't you know it in your heart? Su Dong took a step back with a guilty conscience. It was you who inherited the estate. Now that you have money, you look down on me and find someone younger. That I looked for Zhang Xiaoxiao's WeChat in the WeChat address book. Your ex-girlfriend and I have a good relationship now. Who is right and who is wrong? Justice is in the hearts of the people. When the time comes, I will call a lawyer and sue you for defamation. Do you still want your bank job? Su Dong glared at me unwillingly. What did I think of? We have been together for so many years. I will transfer some money to you. Let's part ways in peace. When Su Dong heard that I wanted to transfer money to him, he rubbed his hands impatiently. That's right, you have some brains, otherwise I would ask my mother to continue to make trouble, and it would be embarrassing for everyone. Lin Jianchen saw that I wanted to transfer money to him, and hurriedly stopped me. Why transfer money to him? Let's call the police and let the police deal with them. I scratched the palm of Lin Jianchen's hand with my little finger to let him relax. That I transferred 10 cents to Su Dong. Do you know why it is 10 cents? Because you are only worth so much money. Even Zhang Xiaoxiao looks down on you and breaks up with you. Do you know how bad you are? Take the 10 cents and get out. Su Dong wanted to rush up and hit me with one punch, but was stopped by the police who rushed over and was pressed to the ground, and my lawyer hurriedly took photos to record the evidence, who knew that there was an underground loan shark company who accidentally saw the video of Su Dong's family making a scene at the door of my company and rushed to find Su Dong to pay back the money. When the two parties met, even the people from the loan shark company were arrested together. It turned out that Su Dong saw that I had a 10 billion inheritance, and he was unwilling to be content with only 3 million. He invested all the 3 million in the stock market, hoping to make a fortune and become the richest man in China. Unexpectedly, the market was not good recently, and Russia and the United States went to war. The entire share market fluctuated, and it was green for several months, and he lost everything. He also used public funds to replenish his stock positions while working in the bank, and borrowed usury. Now he came to me because he owed a lot of money to usury, hoping to extort money from me. The lawyer I hired was worth the big money, and his workability was very good. Although Su Dong did not hit me, he had the intention to beat me, and he was detained for 7 days for disturbing public order, leaving a criminal record. He was directly fired by the bank because he embezzled public funds to buy stocks. I sent this message to Zhang Xiaoxiao, and she sent a smirking emoticon and an invitation. Damn, she actually wanted my favor. I didn't show weakness and sent her an invitation. I didn't expect that one day I would become my ex-boyfriend's ex-girlfriend's girlfriend, and we could get married and invite each other. Lin Jianshan and I held a grand wedding ceremony. I also invited my favorite talk show actor to tell the opening jokes for the wedding, which made the place lively. At the ceremony, there was a stage for the bride and groom to give speeches. The groom held the microphone with tears in his eyes and said, "I knew the bride when I was a child. My father took me to Rongrong's home and we played house together. She promised to be my wife when she grew up. I remember it until now. Now I finally married the wife I played house with when I was a child. Do you still remember my wife?" I recalled it, and it really happened. When I was a child, my father's friend came to play at home. He brought a little kid over, who was very crybaby. I played house with him and casually told him that I would be his wife in the future, but this person turned out to be Lin Jianshan. And I still remember it when I grew up. My heart ached. This fool still remembered me and the promise he made to me when he was a child. This time, the host asked me, "Are you willing to marry this man, love him, be loyal to him, no matter he is poor or rich, healthy or sick, until death?" I am willing, whether in this life or the next. I only want to marry Lin Jianshan.